Hey everyone. Today we're going to be looking at a solo vs trios game that happens primarily around Slaughterhouse. The Butcher banished almost instantly into the match, and it was a completely other side of the map, so we decided to continue looking for the boss on our side. Eventually, the Spider banish is over at Slaughterhouse, so I decided to come over and take a look, see what information I could find. We listened out for a little bit, and I think I can hear one moving around in there. I spot his shoulder and I try to tag him through the wall, and while I don't catch him, he fires back, we have a short exchange, and while nothing is really gained, we learn that one of the inside people now has a Mosin. Not knowing how they play, I take a step back and make sure they don't come pushing out this back door at me. We get shot at with the sparks from the outside, and I turn my attention to him. It'll be a lot easier to deal with this player than it will be the team inside. We get a lucky catch and we get an easy takedown. We're not initially sure if the person out back was with the people inside, but we made an executive decision. I throw a choke bomb down in the door, that way if the inside people come pushing out at me, they get aim punched and they cough, allowing me to know that they're coming out after me. It's possible this guy out here was part of a new team, but considering one team left the map with the bounty and this team inside had made no shots, I don't find it likely. I push out into the back and I don't seem to find anybody else, indicating this is probably one of the inside teammates. As I finish my sweep, it becomes more and more likely that the player we killed out here is part of the inside team. So after I prepare myself for a fight, I go look for a lantern. After a brief engagement, we confirm that the other player inside is using a Winfield. It doesn't mean he couldn't have a secondary shotgun, but that tells us a lot about the inside weapon. With him on fire, we reload and get ready to attack them when they come out to put him out. It takes a little while for them to respond, but when they do, they both come pushing out at once, and I wasn't expecting that. I try to take out the guy tossing the choke first to keep up pressure, but the other guy tags me and forces me back. I know if they both push me, I'm in trouble, so I try to focus this guy down first. He tags me, but I know if they're pushing, I don't have time to heal, and I have to stand and fight anyway. I find the headshot, and I immediately start medding, expecting this other guy to push me. But it turns out he doesn't actually push out. When I peek out and see he's actually playing pretty far reserved, I decide to push really aggressively. I get the tag through the wall, and I try to chase him. I can't find him, and I immediately go to look for a lantern for his friend. I'm sure that when I burn him, he's going to come out of this door right in front of me, and I try to figure out where I'm going to position myself afterwards. I see the red barrel trap and I decide to remove it, because if I have to fight around here, I'm going to want to be able to move around as freely as possible. As soon as I do that, though, I hear a nade and I try to dodge it. I time it so that if he tries to throw it over, I come inside, and it turns out he just throws it far anyway, but I decide to hold my position just in case. With no follow-up pressure, we decide to grab the lantern and torch his friend. I go to get into position before I even realize the door's open and the guy comes out with a choke bomb. I land the tag as he comes out and I push in after him. I feel like I have a really good read and I need to push on this guy, and I decide to follow him inside. I hear him in the corner and I know that he has to be medding. I hear the heal complete and I wait for him to push in case he tries to get the jump on me. When he doesn't make his move, I push on him farther. We know he's been playing scared now that we've got the tag. We expect him to run away. We read this guy like a pamphlet and get an easy cleanup. Job well done, we pat ourselves on the back and go to collect our well-earned spoils when... Holy shit! Suddenly there's another team on top of us. I'm confident one of them's going to come through this window and I'm going to take the fight. I feel like I'm going to win it. I overcommit though and I spend too much time staring at this window. Sometimes though, you just get lucky. The guy I neglected gets a very solid flank on me. Thankfully, he doesn't hit the headshot. We duck behind cover and quickly met up, deciding if we want to hold this position or fall back. However, I realize I haven't reloaded and I'm forced to concede the entire boss layer as I go reset myself for this next battle. No sooner do we get outside than do we hear them nading my last known position and throwing chokes to limit my movements inside of the boss layer. However, if they're throwing nades in, that means they haven't pushed in and claimed the territory themselves, so I quickly push in to reassert control of the area. I reason that if they're throwing down chokes to limit my movements, they're going to try to limit as many areas as they can, as quickly as they can. So I'm going to push outside and catch them while they're having chokes in their hands. We find the first one out of cover and we quickly exploit him into the dirt before we look for the second one. We whiff our shot and he gets the tag, and I expected him to shoot me through the wall here, but once we make it in, I find a medkit. I know they have the initiative, but I get greedy and try to retake control of the area, and I get denied in the truest sense of the word. I have some time as I break out to think about the choices in my life that led me to this position, but I see another medkit and can save my own thankfully. I back off and reload again, and then I dark side up to see if he got his friend up. He most definitely did, and I try to reassert pressure, hopefully catching him off guard again. The healthy one is ready for us, and he peeks out into us. I also step into a poison bomb left by the previous team that we first cleared out, but I managed to hit my shots and take out both of them and clear the whole area. So this is another pretty short episode so far. Let's look at what we can take away from it. First thing I would say is don't be afraid to give space and reset. We saw it multiple times in this video where I backed up, reloaded, healed, and reset. The worst thing you can do if you can't hold a position is try to hold that position. If you have reserve meds and ammunition, there's no reason not to fall back and give yourself the best chance to win the fight that's coming up. But if you're out of everything, just giving yourself space will only give your opponents more chance to realize what's happening, as you're not actually gaining any benefit from the space. For example, even if I were out of health and ammo, my best bet would have been still to try to catch these guys with some counter pressure when they were trying to set up, rather than letting them set everything up and then coming back and trying to fight then. The second takeaway is that everyone should be trying to actively set up fights that favor you rather than just take fights as they come. For example, during this fight, I predicted where he was going to come out of to save his friend and I was able to set up appropriately. I reacted a little slowly, and I did miss my shot, but this is still a decent example of the idea. Another example is during the second team. When they were pushing up with their choke bombs, I knew they were going to set up on all of the doors and windows, and I decided to launch a counterattack while they would be setting up, rather than letting them get themselves established, trying to catch them off guard. I took chances and looked to bend the opportunities and things that were happening to my benefit, rather than just taking fights as people walked into my crosshairs. And that just about covers it, I think. I know this was another short video, but if you guys have any feedback or if you want longer videos or something like that, please let me know, and I'll see you next time.